The new era of business is here. The new era of leadership is here. And yes, this is not about a more hustle. It's not even about feminine leadership. It's about something completely different. And I'm excited to introduce that today with you in our conversation. Hi, welcome. If you're new here, I'm Sonita. I know it's been a while that I've been away, and the truth is, I really do miss you all. I miss your comments, I miss your conversations, everything. So I know you've been wondering, where has she been? Where has Sonita been all this while? Well, the truth is, something has been happening, which I'm excited to share with you. One thing that I struggle with really after my spiritual awakening was really asking, how do I build business in the new way? How do I lead my business as an awakened person, as an awakened entrepreneur? And how do I show up in the world? Because the truth is, I really love the work I did, the transformation I got people, and the result my clients were getting. But after my spiritual awakening, everything about my identity, myself, it completely shifted from this ego driven masculine 3D to this heart centered, loving, and just being and creating with spirit. So I struggle between like, okay, how do I get back to business? And the past 2, 3 months that I've been away, not creating, not posting, I've really been in this void of figuring that out and really going out there myself. Because the truth is, trying hiring a mentor, I even searched online, I couldn't really find someone who really taught a way that I felt like this is a line, this is quite the way to build a 5D business from 5D consciousness, and not the ego and not the metrics and not the hustle, not the masculine, which I was so driven in. So that's where I have been. And today I'm so excited to return back to you and have this conversation with you. So one thing that really got my attention, or that I struggle with, like, is really like, how do I do business? I'm an entrepreneur, and having a spiritual awakening as an entrepreneur, like I always say, is kind of like different from everybody out there, because you are a leader and you have responsibility, you have a team, you have people, and you also have to come in the world and create value. And from this place of creating value, you need to sell, market, show yourself, lead others, lead your team go through difficult time. So after spiritual awakening, with all the changes that already happened, it's like, okay, how do I do this? And nobody was teaching that. I searched and Googled and did everything, nothing that I could find out there. So I went on a journey within myself with spirit and be like, okay, teach me in the new way. And this is what I has been really be embodying and mastering. And I really felt like I wasn't ready to teach about it until I had fully embodied it. And now that I embody it, I'm so glad to be back in this new phase, in this new era of leadership that I am privileged to be guiding and leading awakened souls into. So before my spiritual awakening, I was leading a business. I had built a multiple six-figure a year business completely from scratch as a single mom from Africa. And I was very proud of myself for doing that. But one thing that was so subtle that I didn't realize at the time was that that business was built from my wounded ego. I was forced to create success and build that business from a place of my wounding, right? From a place of my trauma, feeling like I'm not good enough, inadequacy in self, and from a place of fragmentation. And as a result of creating from this place of fragmentation, what happened is that that led to the ego leading, right? So it was led by the ego, the success, the numbers. And if I just perform enough, then I'm good enough. The pressure. And that served me because that trauma, my trauma from my childhood, my scarcity from my childhood, everything kind of like fueled me to succeed. But what happened is that it fueled me to succeed until it couldn't fuel me anymore. And I got to this place in my business where I was hustling, I was working harder and tried everything and pushing, just grinding. And it still wasn't sticking. And that's when you know, I hit a wall where I was like, you know what, I'm tired. I'm tired of trying and pushing and all of that. And I just surrendered everything and the collapse happened. And the thing is that business before spiritual awakening is really all about the ego, right? It's about how much money can I make? How many clients can I attract? What can I get? And in other, it's not really getting for this place of self from this place of abundance. It's like, how much can I get to finally feel myself, to feel like I'm good enough. So the getting and the grind is from this place of scarcity and this place of inadequacy, this place of lack, right? And most of the time when we are operating in the old paradigm of business, which is what I call it now, the 3D way of business, you're really operating from a place of pressure, and your marketing, for example, will look like, okay, how much I can hustle. I need to hustle. I need to be consistency. I need to chase. I need to look for what the market want, provide what the market want, and then I need to show up and speak to their pain point and sales. I need to pressure people to buy. And but after spiritual awakening, what you start noticing is that your body contract to all of those tactics. Your body contract maybe to the messaging, what you were doing, why you were doing, and how you were doing it. Most of the time, it's like, what was I really doing? Was it really from a place of soul? And this is when you start questioning your intention behind your business, your intention behind the way you were leading. Or was it just from a place of inadequacy? And because there's a lot of transformation that happens during the spiritual awakening process, you begin to realize that as you integrate more of your ego and that wounded self and that inadequate self, part of self, you begin to come to a place of wholeness. And now it's like, how do I now create in this place of wholeness? How do I create in this place of abundance? Now, it's not really like your desire to create influence and make money and create wealth and abundance disappears, because if at all that desire was from your soul, it's actually a soul level desire. It doesn't change, right? It simply changes how you're supposed to lead it, right? And I have a video where I talk to you about ego desire and soul-led desire, how you can transmute your ego-led desire into soul-led desire, which I'm going to link below if you need to check that. But it's really about how the way you're leading changes. Instead of you being leading like, oh, I'm leading by, I want the money, I want the money, I want the money, the desire might switch into, I desire to create impact, to share more of the light of the creator, to be more of a vessel to fulfill my purpose, my calling, to raise the vibration of the earth. So the leadership changes from a heart posture of what do I get to what do I give. And this is the new paradigm of leadership. It's really about service. And I remember when I decided to come back to business like a month ago, Spirit guided me that, okay, you have to do like a free challenge, 5 days challenge for few people. And I was like, oh my God, this is 5 challenge. That is so like 5 days challenge. That's so valuable. If I'm being paid for that, that's so much money. And then immediately in that moment, Spirit was like, that is exactly why you have to do it for free. You have to do it for free because in the 5D, in the new paradigm, we don't lead with money. We don't lead with what we get. We lead with what we have to give, our light, our embodiment, our frequency, which is what we share with the world and raises the vibration. And as a result of us sharing that light and sharing with the world, or our embodiment, our journey, our wisdom, money becomes a byproduct. So in the 3D business, it's really about like, oh, I want to make money, right? Let me make money. So when you make that money, like I did, I remember the day I had my 50K cash month, it's going to look good, but then it still feels empty. It feels like something is missing. Why? Because it was never grounded in your soul. It was all grounded and driven by your ego. So in the 5D, the leadership really shifts from how, instead of to what do I give the world? And this is where in light leadership, which is really the new paradigm of leadership, it's really about how much of the light of the creator can I hold? How much can I share with the world? How much love can I give? How much service can I give? And how much can I fall in love more and more and more with my work? How much can I live in alignment to my soul, my purpose, my mission? And as a result of living in alignment to my soul, my purpose, my mission, I then create wealth. I then receive wealth. I then receive impact, influence as a byproduct of that. So this is what the new era of leadership is really about. It's really about leading from the light. It's about you returning back to who you are, your true self, which is the light, which is one with all things, which is a divine being. And it's leading from this place of wholeness instead of this place of fractalization. It's about returning to who you really are, truly embodying your light, not just knowing it, not just knowing things mentally, but truly embodying and becoming a beacon of light in the world. And then from this place, you lead in service, you lead in detachment, you lead from the heart, you create from the womb. And as a result, there's this impact that is birthing in the world. So the 3D metrics, the old paradigm is really grounded around the ego. It's grounded around what do I get? Service to self path. How can I get more and more for myself? It's really, and this is why it's grounded around effort, hustle, because the ego is always trying hard, push hard, go get because it wants to get for itself, for its own gratification, for what it wants, for the inflation of the non-self, which is the ego mind, right? But in light leadership, it's really about letting spirit become the leader, letting your soul and spirit become the leader. It's about how can I live more in my heart? How can I tune more and be more in my heart center? How can I create more from the abundance of who I am? And how can I share with the world? And I know most of you might be like, oh no, but that's not sustainable. That is not like a business. Well, that's the thing. That's where the distortion is. Because when we think of light leadership, when we think about 5D business, you think, oh, it's just me. You should go out there and give your gift for free, never ask people to pay you, just be of service. But this is about balance, and beyond balance, it's about holding duality, which is really the root core of light leadership, and the really reason why I literally changed the name of this podcast to Heaven and Earth, because it's really about how can I hold both the spiritual and the non-spiritual, right? How can I hold my divine and my human simultaneously? How can I hold the heart center, the feminine, the soft, right? And the masculine, which and in the 3D, without necessarily making the 3D wrong or dismantling or escaping it. How can I hold both? So this is what really the core of light leadership is how can I be a 5D being, live in the higher consciousness, embody fully who I am as the divine self, and create in this 3D without necessarily using the 3D rule, but operating fully and functioning in the 3D. One of the biggest distortion that happens in the mind is that after spiritual awakening, especially leaders, entrepreneurs, we feel this need of like, okay, I just don't want to do that business anymore, right? I just don't want to have anything to do with this 3D. I just want to escape it. And it sounds spiritual and it's good. But one thing I realized is that most of the time it's still our ego disguising itself in order to escape with the 3D, because our real mission after spiritual awakening is not just to embody the light and keep the light to ourselves. It is to share our light with the world. It is to go out there, be the light, be the love. It's about impacting life, influencing, raising the consciousness of the planet. It's about really doing our work as light leaders, taking our place, getting on our throne, saying, I am a leader of light, fully claiming that identity without feeling like, oh, if I do this, then I am not this. So at the root core of it is, oh, am I now saying I don't have to do a business, or I'm going to completely change or abandon what I did before? No, you don't have to abandon what you did, the business you were running, but you change how you were doing it. It's about changing how you were doing it. It's not about you changing your career. It's about integrating your mission, your soul, your purpose into it. So for example, if you were a hairdresser or a massage therapist before your spiritual awakening, necessarily it's not about, oh, let me now burn down my massage career business and now not have anything and go be a healer. You can literally be a healer who heals through massage. And this is what light leadership is. It's not about rejecting what is, which is not what I'm doing with this video. I'm not saying the 3D bad is bad. It's about how can we bring more light into it. And this is where the duality is. The duality comes because light leadership is about remembering that we are the divine and we are the human simultaneously. And how can we lead and create and be the divine and the human without making the divine wrong or the human wrong? How can we hold both? Not dance between both, but remember we are both all the time. How can I be both divine right now and human right now, right? I'm both. Spirit is channeling through me right now. Whoever is speaking is my higher self, is my divine self, is the spirit. But the human is still here because we need the human for you to channel to receive this. So the new paradigm of leadership is not about us going against the fight, the 3D. It's not even about feminine and masculine leadership. It's not about feminine leadership. It's not about let's lead from our soft place. Let's lead from our womb only. Let's lead from our bodies only. Let's lead from our mind, body, and spirit. Let's lead from both the masculine and the feminine simultaneously. It's not a holy dance, as most people always say. That feminine energy is a flow. Yes, that's about feminine leadership. But light leadership, it's about holding both at the same time. How can I be both spirit right now and human without needing to have a time when I'm spirit and a time when I'm human? How can I be fully and be leading fully in my masculine and my feminine in my business right now? And this is the new paradigm of leadership. Because as we evolve on our leadership journey and we ascend on the path, we realize that the lower dimension of leadership is the 3D leadership of effort, right? To do, right? And then we ascend out of that into the feminine leadership, which is like be in your softness and all of that. But true leadership is not being or doing. It's about both at the same time. How can I be while still doing? How can I do while still being? How can I hold the duality? And this is really the core of light leadership. And I'm going to be taking you more into this in my upcoming class, the new paradigm of leadership. It's called Throne. And it's really about you returning back to your space and taking that seat of leadership. Remembering your calling as a light leader. Remembering that you came here not just for the money, for the impact, or for your sole purpose. You came here for it all. You came here for the money, the impact, the purpose, the mission, the calling, the embodiment, the ascension, the healing. You are it all. And you came here most importantly, which I believe this is the core reason why all of us came to the earth at this time, to raise the vibration of the planet, to wake up humanity. But we can't do that if we have you sleeping. If we have you still thinking, oh, am I good enough? If the ego is still the thing leading. It's either your ego is leading so much with masculine achieve, and you reach this place of achievement, but you feel empty on the inside. Or the ego is like, oh, you're not good enough, you don't know enough, you can't lead, you're not a leader, you're not a leader. Which are still like the two poles of the same thing. But this is not about you being good enough. This is not even about you because you already were. You were, and so you are listening to this conversation. You're even sitting here right now because there's a part of it that resonates. And in Throne, we are really going to be ushering you into the new paradigm of leadership. And I'm really going to be sharing with you and teaching you how and what the new paradigm is really like. So if you are watching this and you feel called, I invite you, the link is in the chat, to actually join. We are doing the masterclass on the 11/11, which is the frequency of a brand new beginning, of a new start, like 11 month of 11. So if you're watching this after 11 November, the Throne Masterclass is actually going to be inside my Temple of Light Leaders membership. So if you feel that calling, if you feel like, oh, this is it, this is what I want to be, this is the space, you can always join the Light Leaders Temple. Now, that is if you are watching this after the 11th of November, when the masterclass has been moved to the embodied. So the links are going to be below, and I look forward to seeing you inside. But this is the thing I really want you to walk away with. The new paradigm is not about hustle. The new paradigm is also not about escapism. It's not about escaping the 3D. The new paradigm is not also about pushing in the 3D. How can I do more? How can I push more? How can I, let me achieve. It's not also about, let me just be, let me do nothing. Let me just hear spirit. Let me just channel. Let me just escape. No, the new earth is not going to be built by spiritual people who stay in their spiritual closet. It's going to be built by those who embody their life fully and who take the stamp and they say, I am the light leader. I am holding the baton, the staff of leadership, and I'm going ahead. I'm sharing this light with the world. And even if it's one person that is impacted, I am doing something right. The new earth is going to be built by people who are not afraid to be seen, who are not afraid to speak their truth, who are not afraid to go out there and call the lies for what it is and call the good for what it is. The new earth is going to be built by people who are so consumed by embodying their light, becoming more and more and more the divine, more than performing to get. It's going to be built by the leaders who lead from the heart and who create from the womb, who are led by spirit and not by the ego and the logic and the mind, who move when they hear spirit tell them move, who go when they hear spirit tell them go. And the new earth is going to be brought here by you and I. So are you going to say yes to it? Or are you going to either keep hiding in your spiritual closet, calling visibility wrong, calling money wrong, calling impact wrong, calling building a business from the 5D wrong? Or are you going to stay stuck in the 3D metrics, pushing, hustling, grinding, being overly in the masculine, trying to make money all the time, trying to manifest your way instead of coming into the state of divine union, being the divine and the human, experiencing both heaven and earth right here, right now, without separation? What are you going to choose? Because whatever you choose, determine where you're going to be. But for those of you who are here, I know you're not about separation. You're not about the old paradigm. You're not about, I'm going to escape the 3D and not have anything to do with it and just be spiritual. And you're also not about, I'm going to push, grind, hustle my way, care only about the money, silence my soul, silence my heart, have no, and just go, 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 go. I know that's not you. I know you are the one that is here to lead from the light, be the light, and hold it all. And I'm so excited to be back. And we're going to be having these beautiful conversations more and more and more and more. And this is where what I have been walking with and embodying and really relaunching my business. And I'm so glad to have you all here. Thank you so much. You can share this episode with a sister, a brother, a divine being, someone you know that needs to hear this conversation. Friends, it's because we together are raising the frequency of the earth, one leader at a time. Sending you so much love and light.